Hello and welcome to the Business and Economic Forum here at 2A Radio. My name is Willie Dillon, and I have Mr. Choo Choo Alex Jones here today. We're going to be discussing some pertinent issues in regards to Liberia and its business climate, economic factors, and ways through which he believes that we can take this economy forward, get it get it out of its stagnant position, and hopefully create a world class economy. Right, Jones, introduce yourself.
How are you, Dylan? I'd like to make a slight correction.
Okay,
After today, my name no longer Chuchu Alex Jones. It's Alexander the Greatest.
okay, that's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. All right, all right. Mr. Alexander the Great,
The
greatest.
greatest, the greatest, not the great.
Yeah, great was a long time ago.
Yeah, no, 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 no.
All right, so welcome here at our show. We want you to just do a little expose, talk about yourself, and then we'll go from there.
Well, I don't think I need any more introduction. I'm the guy who's causing all the trouble, who's holding everybody accountable, who's talking about the corrupt political leaders in Liberia, the corrupt opposition, and how Liberian people can come together to get rid of these people and elect a very good, accountable, and serious government to improve their lives and the economy.
Okay. Yeah, okay, okay. Well, thank you for that introduction, Mr. Jones, or the greatest. Um, we're going to jump straight into this thing. We want to discuss the inflation rate in the country, and if you believe that it's going to go higher, you believe that it is accurate, and what can be done to get it at a place that will cause stability in the economy. Why is it even important?
Well, I don't think it is very important, but at this point in Liberia, it really doesn't matter whether they say that the inflation rate is 1% or it's 30%. The people can feel the price increases. So I think it's just formality that the even reporting any number, um, price is going to continue to go up, and hardship is going to continue. So I think the overall economy in Liberia is will continue to get worse. I don't see any foreseeable path towards higher living standard, job creation, whether in this government or if we elect one of these political parties. The fact is, the people don't understand what they are doing, and just be frank. The Liberian people continue to be screwed by these people. They know nothing about economic management. They For them, it's going to government just for grafts to pay themselves, pay their friends. Yeah, they can't make it in America, so they run to government in Liberia, and that includes all the Unity Party. How do you have somebody who just finished school today, this year or last year, who won't go back to Liberia to become minister?
Yeah, that's
You understand what I mean? You know nothing. You know absolutely nothing. You have no experience. You can't run anything. But that's the situation we have in Liberia, and it's unfortunate.
okay, okay, okay. So now, do you feel that the inflation rate, you said it didn't matter, but is it possible that you know we can bring it down, or is it too high? I mean, just we just wanted more meat and potatoes.
It should be down because inflation is one of the things that affect people on a daily basis. It affects everything. I think it was a Morgan Freeman who stated that inflation is the worst thing that can happen to a country. Uh, it
Mm,
The result of devaluing the currency, printing too much money, bad central bank policy, um, and ignorance. So the rate is not 7%. You and I know that.
Yeah.
They couldn't even tell you what they used to calculate it with, the methodology of it. So whatever number they throw out there, you understand what I mean? It's not going to change the fact that when you go to the market to go buy any products, it's going to be more your salary for that same product every month. That's the reality. So putting numbers up, even at this point, the GDP, we have what 4% GDP, which is ridiculous in this day and age. How do you move our economy from that? Even if we were at 5 billion GDP, Liberia will still be one of the poorest countries. I mean, we'll still be behind all of the worst countries in the world. So the situation economically in Liberia is hopeless. Liberian people like to fool themselves. They like to pretend. They like to pretend. I mean, look at a country like Haiti. Okay, Haiti is one of the worst countries in Americas. Correct? Haiti GDP is 21 billion. Think about it. Haiti just had one of the worst earthquakes. Everything that they had cool. They killed the president. Their GDP is 21 billion, and it's one of the poorest countries in the world. So how can you look at Liberia with 4 billion and talk about progress?
And say that you've made progress. Yeah, okay. So then why do you think there's such a disparity between Liberia and the rest of the world? Like you have a Haiti that is the worst performing country economically, socially, in the Western Hemisphere, can at least produce 21 billion dollars worth of goods and and commodities for the world economy, and who cannot.
The reality is that many Liberians, unfortunately, they come to school, they get papers to go and work in government. They don't produce anything. They don't have a business. If the situation was, the government is bad, okay, that's why Liberians are not doing well, or that's why the economy is not doing well. Then what about Haiti? What about Burkina Faso? What about Mali?
What about Somalia?
What about Somalia? So, to a great extent, even in a bad government, because the economy is controlled by people.
Supply and demand, yeah.
Yeah, people. So you can get the best government, and you can still have a shitty economy. And Liberians haven't come to grips with it. The problem isn't just the government.
Yeah, an example
the problem
of that,
is Liberians.
An example of
Go
that.
ahead.
An example of that I would say would be Japan, where they have a good functioning government, but the yen has devalued enormously to the point where it's not competitive with other advanced countries. So you're right. You can have a good government and the economy doesn't perform well, and you can have a bad government and a good performing economy. Like you see in the Middle East, they have a monarchy, but you see like a country like Dubai is very productive.
Right. So the problem is ignorance. The people who, our educated population, unfortunately, are just textbook, educated people. I think what the Soviets used to call it, what you call economic idiots. That's basically what we have in Liberia. People go to school, they get paper. You whatever field you're studying, you don't work in the field, you don't read, other countries, and all of a sudden, then you think you're so qualified now to run Liberian government. Look at the Kennedys. Which one have produced anything? Which one even have a business to say, okay, I can run a business. I know business circle. I understand, profit margins. I understand, business growth. How many Liberian people, the legislators, the people who are running the presidential candidate, can even come to even articulate, you know, any kind of policy? They don't. So why? That's the reason why you have our country, okay, Swaziland, which is just a little small little island in South Africa, right? They rule by some king, all right, completely cut off from the world, completely indigenous. Their GDP is 5 billion.
Man.
5 billion. Okay. Mauritius, small island. They ain't got no resources. Okay. Very small population, 1.2 million people live in Mauritius, a little small island. Their GDP is 12 billion. Okay. So don't go to the Singapore. Look, Singapore can fit in Liberia 3 times. Switzerland can fit in Liberia 3 times. Okay, so why you know what people are talking is complete nonsense. I think Dylan just fell off, so let's give him a few minutes. Back? Okay. So, you know, that's our problem. We are completely ignorant to, you know, the realities of the world. You know, how many Liberians even understand what is GDP, what is, you know, I'm talking about the educated ones. I'm talking about the regular people. I'm talking about the one with the master's degrees. The one who running their mouths all day on talk show. Oh, we know how to manage government. Oh, we know that the government, that CDC government. Before CDC came there, what was Liberia GDP? 2 billion. Okay. They went to 3 billion over, I think, over 15 years. Then they talk about the budget. Oh, the CDC government. I mean, Ellen took the budget from 80 million. It was 600 million to show how stupid they are. Charles Taylor ran Liberia economy on a budget that was less than $50 million.
$50 million, yeah. Taylor
21%.
What's that?
Your high budget, yes. It grew at 18 to 21% in 3 years time while they were fighting war in Liberia.
Yeah.
So what's the point of even if the budget go to 1 billion and the expense go to 2 billion or 1.5 billion? It makes absolutely no sense. You know, it makes absolutely no sense. But you get these foolish people on air, you know, like the blind leading the blind. They can't even pick up a book to read to even correct themselves. Somebody talking, oh, Liberia debt, 1.1 one of the ANC people, oh, Liberia debt is 1.2 billion thing. You just see people talk about something and you grab it. You don't even understand it. You know? You ain't understand it. Where economy is, you just go see numbers and because you heard Alex Jones talk about it. This is Alex Jones' field. This is Dylan's field. This is what he does for a living. This is what he gets hires to do. This is value field. So shut up if you don't understand. Talk your cheap politics. You understand? Talk about, you know, how many people you can put to the stadium that you can pay $20. Win the election and go home. But you sound very silly talking about things you don't understand. Oh, it will grow the economy, will grow the budget to $1 billion. And the budget has come from 400 million to 700 million. What difference does it make? It's all borrowed money.
Yeah.
It does nothing to help anybody. Look at Sri Lanka. Okay, Sri Lanka had a GDP of over $100 billion. Look at it today. The people bathing in the president's job palace pool. You know, so it's dangerously, you know, troubling that Liberians are so ignorant. Mali, GDP is 19 billion. Mali, we're sending troops to Mali. You know that, right? Liberia sent troops to Mali.
Yes, they did.
Mali is fighting war right now. Okay, they're growing at 3.8%. Their GDP is 19 billion. All right, 20 million people, and they still have a better economic output than Liberia that's sitting there doing nothing. Everybody won't be political analysts. So we need people, unfortunately, you need a segment of society that can run business, that can manage business. I talk about it all the time. Liberians are incapable of managing a lemonade stand. I'm talking about the educated ones. Somebody studying nursing, they won't talk about political economics. Somebody, pushing cartoon, they won't talk about, what needs to be done in the country. What do you know? So until we can stop getting ignorant people to come out to talk about serious things, that country will go nowhere. That country will go nowhere. The things I don't know, I shut my mouth about it. You will not hear me talking about medicine or nursing or, because I don't know anything. I'm ignorant to those things. So when I want to learn something, I go to somebody who knows, who is working in our field, who went to school in our field. But Liberia, everybody are economists.
All right. Well, that is the reality that we see in our country at the moment. That the economy is stagnant, right, and not really growing. So let me ask you something. When it comes to taxation, you know that fiscal policy includes government spending and government taxation, right? Tax and spend. So you think the fiscal policy, the government is intact? Is it operating at its full capacity in order to yield proper results?
No. Even if Liberians could raise tax revenue, the question is, what will you do with the tax revenue? Like I just said, your budget was 400 million, now it's 700 million in 3 years' time, right? Because you took on a lot of debt. You took on over $1 billion worth of debt. So that debt, all right, is what is in the GDP that makes it seem that, okay, we're doing better. So you raise taxes and you raise $1 billion. If you don't invest that $1 million in a productive means where people can get jobs, income level can go up, HDI can go up, it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. The same number of people will still be suffering. And the same few people in government, corrupt people, will still be enjoying. So there's no, it's like you're not a carpenter, but you want build a house. You know what I mean? You're not a carpenter. You can't swing a hammer, but you want become chief engineer, chief builder. That's the problem. You bus driver, you won't be pilot. Okay? You aircraft maintenance man, you want to run an airport. You know what the hell to take to run an airport? You know how much financial skills it needs? You need to run an airport. Airport is a business. It's a global business. You know marketing. You know how to manage employees. You know how to do capital investment. No, but you want to run an airport because you know how to wash a plane or how to, take a chair on a plane. That's the stupidity Liberia has. It's a country of ignorance. So what are you raise tax revenue? What are you take your budget from 100 million to 1 billion? It means nothing because you don't understand basic concepts of economics management. And government is about economic management. There are countries that are GDP or like your UK. Okay, the United Kingdom, they have GDP in the trillions. Why are they suffering? Go to UK and see how people are suffering. Okay, ordinary people suffering. You go to Britain, you go to all these areas in the UK where the Africans and even blacks, some of them live like they're in Africa.
Yes, of course.
Same thing here. Go to Newark, go to Minnesota, go to some areas in those places. So you don't have professionals, and only a professional person can run an economy. a professional person who understands it with a lot of experience, because it's a very difficult, it's a very difficult task. It's not something where you just get there because your friend there. And the opposition political party are the most incompetent, the most illiterate people I've seen on the planet. They don't know anything. Yeah, they want boast. I listen to these people and I let the people who are going to run Liberia and do better for you. You better find the different country to go in. All right. So that's our problem. Is we don't know and we don't want to know. We don't want to assert ourselves. Look, knowledge is free. Anybody can learn anything. You don't even have to go to school to become an economist anymore.
No.
You don't. Or a software engineer. You can learn it. But if people want to be ignorant and they want to come out and and talk. So that's our main problem. We have a illiterate society. That people graduate from the University of Liberia, they can't even write a proposal. But all of them get talk show. All of them are political analysts. What you know about politics?
Yeah.
You can't talk about politics when you don't know economics. Because politics is about issues. It's about economic decisions that you make.
Yeah.
So that's our problem.
So you feel like the taxation just country is out of whack, right?
Absolutely. Like even our tax system the tax system in Liberia is too high. You can't grow an economy without cutting taxes to stimulate economic growth. So somebody wants to do business in Liberia, or somebody wants to, why you think they have all these tax havens around America, around the world? They have tax havens because it's a way to attract investors.
Exactly.
21% or 25%, wherever it is in Liberia, on taxes. Who will do that?
The corporate tax rate is about
25%, right?
About there, 25%.
Why would I go to Liberia and be taxed 25% when I could go to the Bahamas and be taxed less than 10%? When I could go to better countries, what services are they providing to justify those taxes? So it's just ignorance. And unfortunately, the Liberian people pay the price because you got ignorant leaders. And the people don't want to learn. They want to keep thinking that you can hope your economy to prosperity. Or you can pray your economy to development. God don't work that way. Okay, even Israel got the finest economists and business people and corporations. That's what made Israel succeeding. Okay, men don't come down from heaven because you say, "Oh yeah." So it pains my heart when I see stupidity by people who should know better. You live in this country, you live around the world, and you're thinking that somebody who is integrate, you don't understand something, and then you won't go and talk about it like you're some expert. You can change the whole government 20 times in Liberia, nothing is going to change. Okay, nothing is going to change. Quote me on that. 2 years from now, will come out will be the worst. The reason will be worse is because the war is getting harder. The war is getting harder, even for America, even for Europe.
Yeah.
So you got to double up 10 times. Okay, 10 times.
Okay, I understand that. Okay, so I like the point that you stated that the world is getting harder, and just to infuse a little bit in there, I would say that the world is getting harder because technology is now required in a lot of different fields in order to forge ahead and bring about progress and growth, right? So, to be more specific, we see that if you look at various countries around the world, what gives everyone can't do everything, right? So what makes each country unique when it comes to their economy is that they find a niche, they create a competitive advantage, use that in order to, produce whatever they produce that's uniquely theirs. They present it to the world, and that becomes their means or mode through which they can generate, foreign capital for their economy. So, what would you say our competitive advantage is, right? Or what our competitive advantages could be at the moment? What is it now? What it could be, and if you were president tomorrow, right? Which which areas within the economy would you use that you feel that we have this edge, and we can use them as engines of growth to force them forward?
We have low skill workers, right? We have uneducated population in large part that don't have much skills, right? So you have to invest in things like simple manufacturing. That's what Vietnam did. That's what China did. Okay, meaning if that bicycle tires, you know what I mean? You can produce it in Liberia. Things that doesn't require any skill. Okay, that's the only hope. You have a very unskilled labor force. If I ask you today in America here, what is it that Liberians are good at? The only thing I can see is nursing.
Yeah, I was about to say the one thing in our community is, and then when you say nursing, I think for me anyway, it conjures up a picture in my mind of nurses,
healthcare, home care.
But just the health industry as a whole, starting just the health industry as a whole, starting from the nursing homes, going all the way up to major hospitals. You find a lot of Liberians working in a lot of different capacity, whether it be transportation, to be, actually working in housekeeping before you even get to the RNs and the nurses and all of that. That nursing area, I would say, in this economy now, our people have found a niche in that. That's
all we produce.
To the Liberian economy is what I'm trying to find.
So we produce a lot of nurses and CNNs. Okay.
CNA.
Right. CNA, right? You see, I don't even know anything about nursing, just to tell you my ignorance when it comes to that.
My mother and one of my sisters are nurses, so I know the lingo a little bit.
Remember when I said people are ignorant? Everybody's ignorant at something.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it was Einstein who said, all I know is I know nothing. Because Einstein was only good in one area. Remember when you used the analogy where you said, if you judge a fish by climbing a tree, the fish will live its whole life thinking it's stupid.
That's true.
Okay. So the first thing any wise intellectual person knows that I only know one or two things. The things that I can get paid for. That's what I know. That's my specialty. Okay. If you take me for that.
Speaking of Einstein, let me infuse this little fact. And this to buttress the statement that you made. When they formed the nation of Israel, they presented Einstein with the job of being the prime minister of Israel. He told them, when it comes to science, that's his area.
Exactly.
When it comes to politics, he's not good at that. So you have to know your skill level and what you are specifically trying to be more gifted towards than others. So you're right.
No, so that's the reality. That's what makes somebody a professional. That's what makes someone, educated. That you have a vocation. You can speak. You learn that vocation over the years, and you are master it. It takes about 20 years for you to get to mastery level or any vocation. Whether you're a carpenter, you're a mechanic, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor. 20 years.
Yeah, and another way to put it, they used to say 10,000 hours, but that can translate either way. Yeah.
You're right. Even your pilot, to get to the level where you become the boss of anything or you become proficient at it, an authority, it takes 20 years. So How can Liberian think you somebody who never spent any time in management, economic management, public policy, or any of those things, governance? How can you now say that you understand you're capable? So let's look at Cummins, for example. Cummins is an excellent administrator. That's all Cummins knows. That's what he's been doing for 20 years.
He has been, and he has succeeded at that.
But we can only succeed in one or two things. Nobody is brilliant enough. Bill Gates said can run a country because that's not his area.
Not his expertise, yeah.
Oh, when stupid people would think that, I can, because I'm successful at Coca-Cola, so I can be successful at managing a great economy. It's two different things. It's completely two different things.
You're right.
Coca-Cola is one sector in an industry. Okay, in the beverage industry, right? It's one sector, one tiny little sector. So you can be the godfather. It doesn't give you, if you talk him from there and say, okay, go manage a bank, go manage Bank of America, who will look at you? Who will even think of that? You are not qualified. That's not an area you have experience in or knowledge in. So going back to what you said about expertise, Liberian competitive edges, low skill, all right, manufacturing and production, things that don't require a lot of engineering, a lot of computer. And we're talking the other day, like in the Bahamas, that's how, South America. If you look at most of the economies in South America, what they used to call the banana republics. You look at a country like Costa Rica. Costa Rica is $107 billion economy. What does Costa Rica mean stuff? They provide things like customer service, low level, what you call support industries. Costa Rica is not making cars or making, low level skills. Country like Guatemala. Okay, Guatemala economy is 86 billion. Okay, Cuba. The economy of Cuba is about $100 billion, $107 billion.
Yeah.
What people produce? Cigars.
Yeah. Sugar, cigars. They have little mining, but nothing much.
Nothing. And they're good at it. You know how much for one box of cigar? Cuban cigar? Okay. You need probably half a truck of iron ore. Okay, for one box of Cuban cigars. So you find your competitive niche, you find your edge, the things that you're good at. And that's what you do until you can improve your knowledge base into other areas. You talk about tourism. Well, I don't even know about customer service before I say tourism. Tourism is a highly customer-centric industry. Liberia cannot do tourism as a means of, improving the economy because, first of all, the Liberians, the way they even talk, their work ethics, go to a Liberian business. The way they even treat you, most of them, not all, but most of them. Because I went to one Liberian restaurant in Rhode Island, and there was a young man who ran it. I think it's called Africana or something. Excellent service. You would not even know a Liberian person ran our business. Yeah, and because I was so impressed, I would always drive there over an hour and go there and have dinner sometimes. And the reason is this guy worked at a restaurant, okay, for several years. And so he learned how to, he learned customer service. He will come and sit with you even after, ask you how everything is going. Did you like the food? Those kinds of things. So you can run tourism when you don't have enough people like that. It's not something you can just come up. Even the Ghanaians, go to the Ghanaians store or restaurant, or the Ethiopian store or restaurant. When I'm in DC, one of the places I love to go to is the Ethiopian restaurants. You will not distinguish an Ethiopian restaurant from an American restaurant. They have the culture. Even in Houston here, one of the best restaurants is Ethiopian restaurant. Because those people, they have taken pride in service. In service. Liberians don't have service. And tourism is a service industry. So don't mind the nonsense people talking, oh, Liberia can be a service industry, Liberia can be, we can generate, it'll just be a waste of time. We're not to that level yet. What you need to do is focus on processing goods, simple goods for your, for things like making tomato paste in Liberia. Liberians love cooking.
More like an agro
business
industry. Okay.
Agro business. Things like coffee, producing coffee in Liberia. Not just exporting coffee beans. That's what we're doing. But to be able, anybody can do it. Somebody who is 12 years old can help process and roast the coffee. Somebody who is 70 years old can do it. You can get a person 1 hour training, and the person can get on the production line, and they can become productive people.
Wow. Okay.
So those are the kind of business. And well, coffee costs a lot of money. Producing tea, Rwanda, Rwanda's biggest export is tea.
Yes, in fact, I think that's their major export.
Yes.
Yeah, that is the major.
That's what you need in Liberia. But when you hear people talking nonsense about tourism, talking nonsense about, oh, we'll do this, it just makes me sick. And these are coming from people who call themselves political leaders, people who call themselves who call themselves a manager, and they work to Fortune 500 companies. Like just abroad, like Liberians, they can provide any kind of service, world-class service. That's why we can't go pay. Look at the city. You want to do tourism, look how you go. You think the people want to catch E. coli? Who can take their family to go to Liberia and say, okay, I pass in the open sewage here. You go to the markets, the flies, all on the food. That the place that you take your children to go and say, yeah, I'm going for ecotourism.
Okay. Well, I mean, so are you saying that this is something that cannot be done? Or are you saying that we have to walk before we crawl? We have to do these agro business and agro manufacturing type of businesses, and then
correct.
Time we grow into okay.
Correct. Yeah, America started producing tobacco. For the first 100 years in America, the major export was tobacco. Yeah. It wasn't cars and tourism and all these things, And it just speaks to the level of the lack of knowledge, business knowledge.
You're right.
So if you open a palm processing industry in Liberia, okay, those are the kinds of things that Liberians should be focusing on. Those things have nothing to do with the geopolitical situation in the country. It has nothing to do with the president. So look at all the political leaders. Look at the Bwaka. Why he doesn't have a palm processing or cocoa processing a farm in Liberia to produce and sell coffee. They got all the lands, which they just took. They didn't purchase it through real means because they were connected to governments and because they were tribal. They got all the tribal land. Why they can't produce coffee? You know the price of coffee? I say coffee beans, pricey. The price of coffee, one pound of coffee will run you between $5 and almost $15, depending on what kind of coffee it is. And that's another thing that Cuba does. Coffee.
Yeah.
Cuba coffee is one of the top in the world. So we don't have those kinds of people who understand business management, finance, economics. Okay, you got a bunch of, lack of a better word, stupid people who don't have any profession, won't manage government, won't be in government, won't make laws for government. So if I was president of Liberia, that's what I would do. I would cut all those other stuff off and focus on the things that can generate income and the things that can create jobs. Coffee production, sugar production. Why we don't have a Liberian own sugar processing plant in Liberia? We got an Indian man.
About that, the sad thing about that, right, is that in the 70s, again under the same Talbot administration, Taiwan wanted to be recognized as opposed to China, right, as a country in the United Nations. And so part of the sweetener, of the deal to encourage Liberia to recognize in the United Nations, they opened a branch, or they opened a business. This was a gift given to them, given to the Liberian government by the Taiwanese government. Right? They came to Liberia, opened a sugar processing plant in Maryland, right, in the 1970s. And because it ran, and then in the 80s, it just ran into the ground. And I saw a picture of what the sugar factory looks like now, and the whole thing is covered with bush and trees. So I'm saying that to say we did produce sugar at a certain point in time, but we did not. There were experts that was
still using sugar. We're not talking about a few 1 ton or 2 ton of sugar. I mean, I'm talking about where it's at a level where you don't need to import sugar, or you need to export sugar. And that requires not only having the land or the labor, it requires managers. Like I said, the people that can manage the garbage, how are you going to manage a sugar processing plant? Looking at brother there, how many people in the Senate and representative, the government, how many of them you will say, okay, you are the CEO of this sugarcane plant, go and manage it. Yes, $10 million. They can't do it. So not only do you not have the skilled labor, you don't have the management. That Jefferson Coach, you're going to go manage the sugar plant, or Akaras Gray, So you don't have the manager. And unfortunately, management is one of the things that, is one of the most popular degrees.
Of course, yeah. In Liberia, here in the United States.
It's one of the most popular degrees. But the problem here, why Liberians they are not capable managers, is because people get the degrees, then they go look for money in a different industry. So you need to spend a lot of time in an area, like we said, 20 years, 15 years, doing something. Then you become a good manager. So if you're not working as a managing plants around the world, or in any country, maybe African country or American, or in America, and you go to Liberia, you open a sugar plant, but you don't become the CFO or the managing director, it will collapse. So we might need to bring people from outside to run those plants and those processing, those agri-businesses, until Liberians can get trained to the level where they can manage it.
And that's simple. To me, that's a simple thing. You give students at the brightest and smartest minds at the university internships to come and work within those places. You give the agriculture students internships over there to understand how processing is done. So yeah, you even give some engineering students scholarships to come and see the manufacturing process. And over time, you will see that the foreign aspect of or the foreign managers will be able to be phased out, and then you can bring in credible Liberians.
Exactly. But to the question now, do Liberians want to become interns? Do they want to go and work for, a processing plant, or no? Every Liberian young person want to be a politician.
Wow.
Every young Liberian person want to be like Joe we are.
I would have said that. Right now there are people looking for jobs, and whatever job they can get, they will take it.
I find that very hard to believe in some instances, because people may say they're looking for jobs, but they want a certain type of job. Okay, you can find a job in Liberia. I'm sure if you want to go and work on a farm, that's a job, right? If you want to tap rubber, Firestone have people to tap rubber. Firestone have people to process rubber. Firestone have people to, do different things. Metal steel. There are people there who working on the railroads. There are people who, so you can get low skill, jobs. But Liberians, by and large, they are so caught up into this whole political theater that for them, learning a field is not important. When you pay $15,000 to a representative, everybody wants to be represented. President get $20 million budget. Everybody wants to be president. What's stopping? I said last time. What is stopping me, you, or anybody in Liberia from going to Liberia opening a palm processing company? What's stopping Gonglo? I'm sure he got hundreds of acres of land, or he can have access to it to go and to get peanuts in Burkina Faso. That one of the major export peanuts. They make billions from it. To open a peanuts farm, even where in Jamaica, peanuts. But they don't want to do that. The girls don't want to do that. So they would rather come to the city and sit around and wear kosu and suffer until you see the government hard. Okay, if people like Musa Bilede can make money like bro, what so much skills and knowledge does he have? If the Mandingo man and the Fula man can kind of like bro on Guinea and over a few years start to make money in the same economy, while Liberians can do the same thing. If you gotta start by setting Bella Boy for your house, that's where you start from. You think? Look at the fishing industry in Liberia. Who controlling it? The Ghanaians.
Yeah.
Simple as fishing. Fishing is our main source of proteins in Liberia. Seafood. It's in abundance. Yeah. Which political leader or politician have ever come and said, you know what? Let me start a fishing processing company?
Well, that's a rather group in Liberia was it was the core business was fishing. Before
that's what I'm saying. Those were the days. Those were the days when Liberians didn't feel that okay, I want to make money. If you can make money in peanuts, what different it is? If I can make $3 million on a peanut farm, does it matter? Or I got to make money as open a hotel. So economics, business as a whole, you don't go into the business that you like. You go into the business that you make money. Yeah. And so Liberians don't understand. They don't understand that thing because they're being led by very selfish and bad leaders. You see Brazil. You know what Brazil export? Produce.
I think it's beef. Yeah, beef is one of the highest.
Beef is one of the highest exports. So they have cattle.
Cattle all over the place. Yeah.
So their economy is what 1.6 trillion. Brazilian there will work on a farm. They will produce Argentina beef, wine, vineyards, farming. That person don't want to do that.
So you say you think ignorance is the problem. So you mean that you don't think there are Liberians who have the know-how to do such?
Do you know how do understand me? Ignorance simply means that you don't know something.
Yeah, I got you. Okay.
The Liberia's biggest problem is ignorance. We export ignorance. Because it's not business, it's not government, it's ignorance. When you see a young person in a university who has not had any experience, does not have a field, you're studying accounting, but you're doing politics. You spend half of your time on politics. You're not spending half of your time on understanding the different Sarbanes-Oxley and understanding accounting theories and understanding, trial balances and things, but you won't spend time beyond CDC or beyond ANC or beyond Unity Party. You are ignorant. Because nobody's going to hire you because you're the Secretary General or ANC. But people will hire you if you know how to do QuickBooks. That's the ignorance I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the ignorance. Where somebody here, you are what you call CNA. That's the name of it. CNA.
CFE.
Yeah, the next thing is CNA. That's the title.
CNA. Yes.
Okay. That's what you've been doing for the last 10 years in America. That's what you know. That's what you're expert in, right? Instead of going to Liberia and trying to look for a means for which you can provide those services to hospitals, where you can work, an arrangement where maybe some of the patients are here at the hospital. You can set up a business where you can provide those services in a home, which will cut down the. No, you won't do that. You won't go to Liberia to become minister. You won't go to Liberia to go do politics. So a lot of times, people, what you coming to Liberia? I come to Liberia when I can go and do the business I need that I set up to do. Politics is a side project. I gotta make money first. So I'm not worrying about that one. Okay. So my life is now okay. When you come to Liberia to go dance around and to go there and you 10 people come behind you, then you got to pay all the way home. I'm not interested in that. When you see me in Liberia, that means I'm coming to Liberia because I have a business plan I want to execute. Politics are side, what you call side hustle. Because it's not going to feed you unless you want to be corrupt. So all our Liberian people now, you study math, you want to be a politician. You study, you study engineering. Some Liberians are excellent cooks. Liberian cuisine. They are excellent at that. Why don't you go back home, open a restaurant, open a food delivery service, start exporting? I knew a girl in New York City, worked in a very prestigious area, had 2 master's degree, quit her job, went back to what do you call the place, Zimbabwe. You know what she started doing? Growing flowers. Flowers, roses that they put in perfume.
Wow.
And guess what happened? Over time, she ended up exporting the flowers to France and making a lot of money and hiring 10, 15 people.
I saw something like that where I think it's in Ethiopia. That's a big business there where they grow the roses and export it in time to where it doesn't get damaged. And I think they said that export mostly to places like Dubai because they don't have the requisite climate for that. And I guess the planes get it there fast enough where it doesn't get.
In fact, the companies, because I knew the girl, and the company, what she did was she went online, did her research, found a company, because I think there are 2 or 3 companies in the world that makes all the perfume in France. And the perfume is made out of flowers. And she contacted them and told them her plan, and they helped her. They told her what kind of flower to grow. They told her how to process it, what a quality control works. And they helped her. And they even helped her with the shipment and everything. So that's a serious person. She didn't go there and say, oh, let's change the Kenyan government or the Zimbabwean government. So the thing is, we don't have any skill as a people. The CNA, that's the only skill that I know Liberian good at, because manager, half of them get 3 MBAs, they never work one day as a manager.
Well,
if you don't work as a manager where your degree is worthless. Go back and get your money. But the only reason they get a degree so they can go back and say, oh, I got 2 master's degrees, so you make me deputy minister. That is the problem. That it's a country, it's a lost country.
Okay.
It's a country that people don't have any kind of skill, like you said earlier. Every country has what you call a competitive edge. Okay. What India is technology, but they spend a lot of time. They spend decades, all right, learning technology. So today, the Indians can go out and export technology services. Liberia don't have any of that. Look at the situation, the embarrassment that right now we have. You to even run a healthcare business, you gotta do it fraudulently. You can't even run a legitimate or bona fide business as a Liberian. So everything, you got to take the shortcuts. So that's the problem. We need people who want to, what are you raising cattle, or you selling bitter ball? You selling okra. They sell okra in America in the store. You can make your okra farm. You can process it. You can export some of it. So those are the kinds of nation we have nations where people specialize in a product or industry or something. Then you on your way. But right now, where you have a bunch of lost people, that everybody want to be government official, that everybody want to get government to steal. So how you can develop the country? You don't even understand. Like I said, you can't even read the budget, but you won't be a legislator. You can't even read a proposal correctly, but you won't make laws. Okay? You can read the budget. You don't know what asset, liability, or equity is. But you don't make laws.
That's true. They have people that can't read and write properly in the representative.
Yeah. You won't be minister
about the budget though.
You know, you just take one number. Oh, the country, oh, the GDP is going up. Oh, because you heard somebody else talking about it. You look stupid. You think why no country to take Liberia seriously? You think American can take Liberia seriously?
No, they don't.
No, they just look around and laugh. You know, like I said, Haiti. All right, a country that they can say had one of the most devastating earthquake. All right, their economy is. But guess what? The Haitians are one of the most educated people today. The Haitians, you talk about, you know, because they had the opportunity to come to America. Even the Cubans has one of the lowest illiteracy rate on the planet.
On the planet, yeah, that's true.
When you talk about medicine and being a doctor, the medical field, the Cubans are number one.
Well, the Cubans even sent doctors to Liberia during the Ebola.
Exactly. So they have something. Everybody don't want to be president of Cuba. Everybody there don't want to be, you know, a minister, or they don't want to be. In fact, they don't even encourage that. You go to Rwanda, they selling tea. But what Liberian politicians, when they say they got farm, that mostly decoration.
Decoration, okay. I've never heard of that.
Let me tell you, say you got found a decoration. That one politician there, where he got all this land and he won't feel good about himself. The people you can't even milk a cow before you say you want to run a farm. What do you know about farming and agriculture? So we have a serious problem, you know. That real problem is ignorance.
So what is the way forward?
Look, to be honest with you, Liberia, we just, you know, I hate to say, we just gotta pray. Maybe 20 years from now, you know, we'll get a good leader and that understand these things, and we try to, you know, discourage these bad habits and practices. Where somebody that come from school, ain't got no experience, no specialty. You study accounting. You are working in the field where you want to go to school for, right? That's what you make your earning.
Yeah.
That's what somebody's paying you for. That's what you worth. How many Liberians can say that? How in the heck you would go to school for 4 years or 6 years or 8 years to leave where you went to school for to go do something else? Then why did you go to school? You know, I was listening to one time Martin Cuddy's one of his things that this girl who in Liberia came to America on scholarship, and she told me, "Oh, I want to get 2 master's degree and a PhD." And I just look at these kids are like, you know, you're going with the same background, Matthew, and useless, you know, thing where you think that because you have a PhD or master's degree, you're worth anything. You know, you're not talking about going to go learn something like IT or something that you can go make a living. So when you finish getting your 2 master's degree in political science, then you can't work in anywhere that Liberia you're going back to now to go cause trouble. And that's the mentality of our young people. Everybody want to be a politician. Even in law, look, Charlene Bronski, you're a lawyer. Okay? You claim you're one of the best lawyers with all the credentials. You're passing you to the best school, all of that. What kind of law practice of substance you have that employing people in law? You should be an attorney. You should have law offices in all the counties. You should have an international law firm in Liberia. You understand what I mean? That's your area of expertise. But when Liberia need maritime lawyer, they gotta go get somebody from a different country. When UN need, when Echo Bank needs a security or a business financial lawyer, they gotta go find somebody else. But you right in the country, you say you're studying law. You won't go into politics instead of things that you went to school for, you are good at. So that's our problem. That's the ignorance I'm talking about. Not the ignorance for the ordinary people, the ignorance for the Dongode. You want to tell me that Liberia is not as dysfunctional as Nigeria? Liberia is just as dysfunctional as Nigeria. How can Dongode go in there, right? Build a whole industry. Now one, sugar, flour. All right. And you telling me that you political leader, you gotta be president before Liberia improve? You're out of your mind. You're out of your mind. You're as ignorant as the rest of the people. You can do business in Liberia. If Jetty can do business in Liberia and build industry and get Seti brothers and do what you can do it.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask you two more questions and then we're gonna try to wrap this up.
Yeah.
But you know, I know in business relationships mean a lot. And so I want to find out from you, what is the nature of the relationship between financial institutions and businesses in the country? And does it need improvement? And if it does, how can we improve that? If it's good, still, how can we improve upon this good standing?
Right? Business is very good in Liberia. Look at UBA balance sheet. Look at Echo Bank balance sheet. The last time I checked, these people are very profitable. So they have good business relationship. Look at Orange Mobile in Liberia. You think they're there because they love Liberian people, they love Liberian government? If those companies can come to Liberia and make millions of dollars, why can't Liberians get involved in those same businesses? And you got to see inflation rate, and you got to see corruption. So how can Orange come into Liberia and make money and expand and provide mobile services and run an efficient business that is profitable? All right. And then your political leader there sitting down there who that can't even put one stick in the ground, telling you, say, oh, the country is hard because the government is bad. So if you're a business person, in fact, you want to go to somewhere where it's dysfunctional and corrupt. You think why ExxonMobil is in Nigeria, why Chevron is in Nigeria? They can make money in America. They can make money in America. The regulations, all the red tapes and everything. BP were here, they had to sell off the offshore thing in the Gulf.
Wow.
They go to those poor countries and Nigeria, Gabon, and places like that, because it's good for business, where you have a fragmented market and you can go in and you can seize on that and make money. So Liberia is not the question of whether you can make money there or business is bad there. The question is Liberians as a whole. They are bought into ignorance from these political people who make their living off of their ignorance and want to gain power. But you can make money in Liberia. You can do business in Liberia. You can run industry in Liberia. The banks running in Liberia. People are making a killing in Liberia. Foreigners. You got hotels. Look at how much people pay for hotel room in Liberia. The people Farmington Hotel over $200 something. Keneja. You think money were not there, the people will be there? But Liberians as a whole, our problem is ignorance. So we don't know that. We don't want to go into business because we're thinking, just change this government, put my tribal man there or put my friend there, and things will be all right. Things will not be all right. You can change anything. You can bring Obama being president of Liberia. That mentality, if you're a business person, you will make money. If you're not a business-minded person, you will not make money. If you have a field, something that people want, technology, produce and stuff that you can sell, you will do well. Just like in any other country. Not everybody in America making money. Some people live on the streets.
That's true.
So but we'll keep talking about it, and hopefully some people will get some knowledge.
Okay, so lastly, I want to find out from you, what do you think the political attitude is towards business in the country?
They put the government love the business people because the business people can bribe the heck out of them. You know, somebody asked me once, I'm not a corrupt man, but if I was running a bank in Liberia and my shareholder needs, I need to make a profit, what do you expect me to do? If I were running a business in Liberia. So you love that kind of country because what you pay in bribe is less than what you pay in taxes.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's why you see all the foreign companies running to Liberia. You call Twitter and get them $10,000 and be like, okay, you know, you can take your iron ore and pollute the whole place. We don't care. So it's good for business, but it's bad for the Liberian people. So that's the problem. So we can wrap up on that, and next week Monday will be here.
All right, Mr. Jones. From what I understand, you're saying that business is good in Liberia for certain people, but not the everyday Liberian. The government is benefiting, the business people are benefiting, but the everyday Liberian is left as a spectator. That's a key word because the president, when he had his inauguration speech, he said Liberians will not be spectators within their own economy. But we see that is still going on. So we're going to wrap up on that note, and we'll be here again next week, same time, same channel, and we're going to expand upon these ideas. We're going to see how we can take it to another level.
All right. Thank you, man.
And so thank you for here today, and thank you for joining the Business and Economic Forum and espousing your views. Thank you.
All right.